Marquez Grant, Marquez-Grant, Grant, and I work for Electroforensics, which is a company based in the UK. I'm one of the few accredited forensic anthropologists in the United Kingdom. There's only very few of us. And my role as an anthropologist is to answer a number of questions. The first question, is something bone or not? So the search team are looking at bits of shell, bits of stone, and even wood. And my role is to identify that as not bone. So here we have some examples of just stones that we've been finding and wood. So this is done through raking, and we found hundreds of shell fragments that I have checked and excluded that as being bone. So that's my first question, is it bone? The second question, and the most common question I am asked, are the bones human or not? So all the bones so far, they're all non-human animal bones. And we found hundreds of them. And there are some examples of what we're finding. So we're finding, this is through raking, we're finding long bones. This is from animals, so they're not human. What the size of the bones we're looking for, if someone's complete, is about that size for the largest fragment, this largest bone. Of course, we're expecting to also potentially see smaller fragments. So the search teams have been looking at full bones. We've got smaller bones from rodents. This is a thigh bone again. I'm not an animal specialist, just a human remains specialist, but from a smaller rodent, for example, this is a femur. But you're expecting to see bigger bones in a child from that age. And then we have more challenging, which are just fragments of bone. So what I'm looking at, usually I look at shape, so shape and the size of the bone, which are different between human and non-human bones or animals. And you're also looking at the texture and the structure of the bone. So this is a fragment, but the organization of the bone is different to humans. So this is a non-human bone. So these are my roles to look at, is something bone, is something human, which it isn't at the moment. We've been finding hundreds of fragments, and I again just visually inspecting the bone, looking at the shape, the size, some texture, and of course, when human remains are found, whether here or elsewhere, my role is to look at the age of the individual, look at sex in adults, stature, and so on. Any questions?
Can you do that here? Have you got the facilities here to be able to do that straight away?
Yeah, so the anthropology is just a visual examination, so we're very experienced at looking at the human skeleton. So everything that we do is visual, it's just through recording. If there were a case, which have happened in other countries, other cases you've got a small fragment where I may have some doubt, there's another anthropologist that can peer review that, and we can go into more microscopic techniques.
Which animals do these bones belong to?
So my remit is to say whether they're human or not, so I'm not an expert in every single animal species. We certainly have different types of animal sizes. I'm not an expert. Presumably we've got lamb, so sheep, cattle, we've got bird bones and rodents. So it's not something that I specialise in, but that's my awareness of that. But I certainly can tell you they're not human.
With there being hundreds of bones found, how stressful is it for you? Are you just following the team as they go through the whole process?
Yes, so basically the search team, before they actually lift any fragment of bone, they would call me to assess whether they're human or not. Usually from the ground I'm able to say that they're animal, and then that's recovered. But usually, yeah, I'm around with the search teams, just answering questions, is it human, is it not?